Hey, I'm Spirit. Maybe you already know that, or maybe this is the first time we're meeting. Either way, welcome. I'm going to try my hand at talking videos, as well as the animations that my channel has seemingly centered around. These are going to be treated as like mini deep dives into the world I've created so you can gather a better understanding of my weird little brain vomit. Why, you ask? Simple answer, I'd like to get into the habit of posting more often, but I just do not have the motivation to post animations as frequently as I would like to. Similarly, I just don't have the time to do that. I am a busy person sometimes. I am aiming for these videos to average out to around 10 minutes, but we'll just play it by ear, see how it goes. You can relax and enjoy the speed paints in the background. Now on to the actual topic of this video. Idriad, what is it? A random assortment of letters? Keyboard smash. That accidentally made it into the title? No, you silly little Billy. It's the world that all those dumb little creatures you see are placed in. More specifically, it's the world that I've been building up for the better part of 5 years. I know, right? I am old. The world was originally partially inspired by stuff like Pokemon and the Avatar, where elements played like a key part in the world. Hence, elements play a huge part in Idriad, and will affect even the coat colors of the creatures within it. Humans or humanoids cannot step foot in Idriad. While some creatures within can get very strange and weird, they still mirror real-life animals, so things like dinos or dragons also do not exist within Idriad. Oh, and on the same note, anthro-animals also do not exist in Idriad. The idea is that Idriad has gained control of the elements and the wildlife near has slowly been affected by that. Similarly, the land has changed with the introduction of the elements. The animals themselves took on an evolution of their own as they merged with the surrounding elements, each manipulation type taking on different kind of features. You know, because they're all special. There are many different ways to differentiate between the animals of Idriad. They can be divided by manipulation types or their elements, blood types or how pure they are, and of course species. Additionally, within each manipulation type they can have different ranks and roles. These, however, are different and unique to each location. It should be noted that they have their own evolution, meaning their progress in society overall is rather mixed. The most common progress being that more of a medieval type look, with certain cities being seen as more modern and certain cities seen as more old-fashioned. Words work, Spirit. Spirit words work. Whoop-de-doo. It should be noted that while society is rather diverse, each manipulation type having its own rules and each town having its own level of progress, they do hunt and eat other animals. There is no one ruling type of animal. Some manipulation types are more powerful in society, but no one species is. That being said, a common language can be spoken between larger land mammals. This common language is what dictates whether or not they are protected from being prey. Similarly, all those without the ability to control elements are seen as subclass creatures, and they are called the Wosa, which are lesser creatures, and that means they are fair game, especially if they are smaller mammals. Aquatic life is all fair game, the only limits being those of which are land mammals taking on aquatic features. It should also be noted that the bodies of the fallen will typically go to scavengers, but this is a detail most would rather not talk about. The smaller mammals tend to have less of a chance of manipulating elements. Their bodies are simply too small for it to be possible. That being said, there are occasionally an exception to the rule. While it is rare, it still is possible. Often smaller manipulators will make a pact with larger manipulators in return for protection. For example, they don't get eaten, and all they have to do in return is come when summoned. They are called a summon, and the larger mammal is called a summoner. This pact is not required, but they have better odds of survival if they are a summon. Similarly, they gain citizenship to wherever their summons are from. If any of this has piqued your interest, I would love to know. Anyways, how this all started and how I started the idea for the world was, of course, around the concept of spirit. The wolf, not me. The only unique thing about spirit was their wings and their color. Their color and wings were what started the whole idea, and it kind of tumbled from there, you know, wings, winged wolf, and it unfolded from there. As the story unfolded, naturally, the world they lived in began to develop as well, and that world eventually gained its own name, Idriad. Later, I kept asking more questions and getting incredibly bored during my daily life. This would help the world just to keep growing. One thing that happened because of this was the creation of Ayyy and Leki, who are the gods of this world. They were the ones that introduced the elements, and they no longer exist in this world. One god is labeled a traitor while the other is a savior. Blah blah, generic story of betrayal. When the gods disappeared, the elements merged with the land, and that's how the elements were officially introduced to the realm. Of that, the differentiation started, and pureblood traits will often mirror that of the gods, or some otherworldly items, such as, space, stars, space rocks, stuff like that. It's because they have features like that of the gods that they are seen as more pure and given the name purebloods. Physical mutations will often have some influence from their element, but can also be entirely random. These happen at birth and will never change, even if they elementally mutate later on in life. Physical mutations are similar to pureblood traits in that they can be traits gods had, except that they are not classed the same. Any ordinary citizen having a non-manipulation specific mutation that is not the norm for their species is what classes it as a physical mutation. Similarly, they are often smaller changes, the most common physical mutation being the tail mutation, it being slightly longer, different design, stuff like that. Wings capable of flight and full-grown horns are not physical mutations and cannot happen via a mutation. Elemental mutations occur when a creature is under a surge of emotions, and this surge has to be really extreme. The specific colorations and stuff of the mutation is unique to each manipulation type. Wosa are those without the ability for elemental manipulation. They can occur randomly in a bloodline and are becoming more rare. If a parent is a Wosa, the child is more likely to be a Wosa, but that is pretty rare now in the current timeline of events. I could ramble on and on about this world, and I intend to in further more specific deep dives. My hopes is that one day, when I feel my animation skills are worthy, I can turn this into some kind of animated series. Until that day, I really hope that at least someone other than myself will find the silly little fantasy world interesting. If you could spare the time or give any thoughts or feedback, I'd appreciate it. Also, if you stayed around this long, thank you for listening to my dumb little rambles. The speed paints in the background are random speed paints I've done recently. The full images will be shown at the end, and you can also find them on my Instagram or in my little art server. Speaking of which, if you are an artist yourself or just want a place to share your art or just talk to other people, I have a mini little art Discord server in the description below or on my link tree. It's old-fashioned, but hey, if it works, it works. Okay, so from out of the way, I hope you stick around for further videos. That would be really cool, and